Good afternoon, everybody. Doing another interview today. Getting them out before basketball season, day before senior all-star game, which we have a member from Wall High School that's playing tomorrow in it. Kiersten Brown. Kiersten, thank you for taking time out today, and
Thank you.
congratulations on a great season that Wall had.
Thank you.
We'll talk about the season because it was like an up and down season you had this year.
Yes.
You know what? We can start with that actually. We'll talk. You girls won a couple games and then you lost five straight. What was the mindset when you were going during that losing streak?
It was pretty challenging. All of us were kind of like at an all-time low in the season. Um, I wouldn't say we lost hope, but it was very hard to like build up from all the losses. But there was like a point in our season where we kind of just all put everything behind us and started fresh. So it was kind of like we just kept building off of each game.
Yeah, it seems you lost to Rumson, and ironically, that's who you defeat to win the sectional. I'm kind of gonna bounce back and forth. So you lose to Rumson, that ends the losing. That was the last game in the losing streak, and then you beat Colts Neck after that. But what was the message going into the sectional finals that coach gave you to try to erase that game earlier in the season?
He basically sat us all down and said, forget what happened in the beginning of the season. Like, we're here for a reason. We have to play a full 80-minute game and just do it for each other. He said you get this shot once every few times. So we kind of just were said, here, do it. And we all really want to do it for each other.
Now, this was the second season in a row you faced Metuchen, and they were the one seed, right?
Yes.
And you were the 8 or 9 last year, right? You were basically in the same spot.
Yes.
What does that say about shore conference soccer that you were able to you beat Metuchen pretty ugly? A one seed shouldn't lose like that. So what does that just say about the competition? Even though your team had that down of 5 straight losses, you're playing good teams.
Yeah, the shore conference overall is a very intense conference, and coming from there, we've played hard soccer all year, and we're faced with like the first seed, like Metuchen. We kind of just forget about the seeds and everything, and then just play our normal game and play hard, tough soccer.
Now, making the state finals, and I know even though you lost, it's such an experience, getting to play at Kane that weekend. Just talk about the experience. I know disappointing you lost, but just getting to that point.
It took a lot of hard work, but we knew like where we could be and the last possible game of the season. So it's just an overall like unreal experience. Just had like playing on that huge field and like with like the stadium surrounding you. It's just like a great experience that I told like all the girls, I was like, you will never forget this game.
No, you won't. Like I said, disappointing loss, but just how many players in their career could say that they got to play for a state title,
Mhm.
and like you said, that situation, that stadium, they've been hosting that since my sister was in high school. Kane, because I remember going to watch her play for a state title. So, that's great, especially, after, that mid-season drought, making it that far. It just shows, how tough your team is being able to rebound from something like that and, not packing it in. So, all right, let's talk about when, you were a little kid. So how old were you when you first started playing soccer?
I believe I was 4 years old.
4.
4 or 5.
That's about the age, when most soccer players start. What was it like? What was it? Wall rec or
Yeah.
something like
And then
that?
I went to travel when I was 7.
Okay. Your first travel was that in Wall too before you made your way to the PDA.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember your first travel coach?
I do. It was actually my dad.
Your dad was your first coach?
He was.
Okay. How long did he coach you for?
Um, Very long time. Up until I think I was like, I want to say like 12, maybe 13.
Okay. Is that when you made the move over to? Did you go to PDA right after that?
No, I switched, I think 2 years ago. So it was
Okay,
pretty late in my career that I switched.
okay, okay. How was it playing for your father?
It was a challenge at times, but he just wanted the best for me, so it was nice.
Did he have soccer background?
No,
No. That's how when growing up, parents never had this, and they were always the coaches. And now it's all these clubs have these trainers, and it's
yeah.
all pretty technical these days. And it's not just a volunteer parent taking over. Hey, we need a
Mhm.
coach. So, after your dad, you were done playing for your dad. Who was your next coach?
We actually went through, I think, two coaches, but we stuck with Tom Boykin.
Okay. How did he affect you, or how did he improve your game?
He just challenged me. Like he knew the player I could be, so he just pushed me to my absolute like highest potential, and he just wanted the best for all of us. So he like showed me certain ways to like look at the field and like different angles, and he just helped me visualize soccer like a whole different level.
Were you always a forward?
Yes.
Yeah, always. Okay. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. I found it amazing that kids play different positions on their club team than they do on high school. It was so
No, yeah,
confused.
I stayed around like the attacking.
Like the attacking mid.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said a couple of years ago you made the move to PDA.
Yes.
Okay. And Lou Santa Cruz is your coach. Okay.
Yes.
How has he helped you? The last couple of years.
He same thing. He's like pushed me to be the best, and he's just helped me focus on certain aspects of the game, and then working technically with like other players and how we can all just like play quicker and just be able to possess the ball other than just the typical kick and run when you're younger.
Now academy, obviously the academy teams, it's so different than my day. Colleges don't really go to high school games. They go to all the showcases.
Mhm.
Having, since, Lou's daughter's on the team, having him at almost all your high school games, do you think that's an advantage that, he could help tell you what things that you need to work on while you're not in the academy season?
I think so. Like I have that like personal relationship with him, so he'll like after each game or something, he'll pull me aside and just like tell me certain things that like I did well, and then other things, oh hey, you should have done it this way. Like just look at it this way next time. So it's like kind of an upper hand, and then going into the travel season, he's able to like say, oh, going back to that game, you did it really well in that specific game. Use that same for the upcoming game that we have.
Yeah, and I obviously, I know Lou well, and he's always reaching out to when I'm at other games. He's always texting me how the PDA girls are doing in that particular game. So it has to be good knowing you have a club coach that cares that much that even if he can't, I know you have an advantage because he's going to be at your games, but knowing he reaches out to other people to see how, the players are doing from his teams. So, as a player, it must make you feel more comfortable.
It does, yeah.
Now you have an older sister and she played soccer. Did you two have a big rivalry growing up?
Um, Not necessarily. Like when it came to certain things, we did. But
Okay.
she played multiple sports. She played softball and soccer, and she was more of like she would like try each sport and kind of just dabble in everything. But we were both very supportive of each other, so I can't really say we were like competing against each other. But in
Okay.
certain aspects, we definitely were.
Is she somebody like if you're having like a bad day, somebody you could reach out to her and vent? That's good. How have your parents helped? I know you said your dad was your coach for so many years, but how have your parents helped you along the way?
They've just been like by my side every step of the way. They've pushed me. They've been there to comfort me when I've had a bad game or like a bad day. They've also told me when I've had a bad game. So they'll be completely honest with me.
Listen, I that's good. Some parents always think their kids are the greatest, and I could be at the game and not knowing what they're watching if they're watching something different. But sometimes also parents could be a little too hard and always, oh, she could have done better. And I could be, wow, she played amazing. And, especially a sport like soccer, I do know soccer very well, but it's good that you have a parent that, if you are having a bad game, they'll tell you, but if you're having a good game, they're supportive because, you don't want too much of one or too much of the other. You need a good balance. So that's good. Did you play? I know, you said your sister dabbled on when you were little. Did you try any other sports or was it always soccer?
I tried like softball and t-ball, but nothing really grasped my attention.
Yes, if you are a soccer player when you're young, the t-ball or softball is definitely not going to do it. I always laugh when I'll ask that same question to everyone. And if they say softball or t-ball and they get the same laugh you just did, it's just standing there in the field waiting for the ball to get hit to you. It's just
Exactly. Yep.
not going to work. Okay. Um, we talked a lot. We talked about your club team. Let's talk about your whole high school career. Now, going in as a freshman, what goals did you set for yourself that you wanted to achieve?
I just wanted to show my best, um, like playing. I went in with the highest goal, like making varsity, but I was okay if I didn't make it because I knew how high the level of soccer was.
Yeah.
So I,
Especially in Wall. Wall's, oh, since I was in high school, Wall's always had a very good girls soccer program there.
yeah, it was going in with that. I was very like hard on myself to be the best, but I knew how hard the program was, so like I was okay with myself if I couldn't get to that level.
Was it a little bit easier, that you had an older sister there? Because I know going in as a freshman, it could be a little bit, challenging, overwhelming to say, but did that make it a little easier, that you had your sister there?
It definitely did, and she was like friends with all of the girls, either the grade above her or like her grade. So going in, it kind of made it a lot easier on myself.
Okay. Any other upperclassmen that you were able to go to besides your sister, your freshman year?
There were all the seniors were unbelievable. Like I couldn't have asked for a better senior class. They were all just so welcoming and they like pretty much all took me under their wing. So each of the girls I could honestly say were great.
And that's how, good programs, stay at the level like Wall is, consistently top 10 and sure, every
Mhm.
year. It starts with the senior leadership and passing it down to you as a freshman. And, we'll talk about what you want to pass down in a little bit, but and that's why, Wall's always up there. Now sophomore year, COVID year, did you think the season was going to happen?
Um, yes and no. We were all kind of on the fence about it. We weren't really sure how it was going to work, but we were hoping for anything. If it was just pickup games, we were okay with it, but we just wanted to have at least something.
That's what, a lot of players that I've been interviewing the past couple, weeks have been saying, it was a year that you didn't know what was going to happen. It was just, let's have fun, we'll play as many games, not as serious as most years. Now you made it to I think they were called regionals that
Yeah.
year. And unfortunately, that Rumson team again. How disappointing, was it? Because they came back and won that, right? Was that the game? Did they come back and win?
They
Okay.
did, yes.
So how disappointing, even though you're young, you're only a sophomore, but how disappointing was that?
It was really disappointing because that season was the year that we were undefeated. So going into
Yes.
that last game and losing that, it was probably the hardest thing we've all had to go through.
Did the coach bring that up at all this year when you played them in the sectionals?
We did.
I mean, some of the players are the same, but you also got, new players there. So I was curious if he referenced that game at all. Okay. Now that year, I think did you make one of the all short teams that year?
I believe so.
I think you did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I had you on one of mine, and I know I had you on my first team your junior season. So let's talk, your junior year. I see the biggest jump in players progression usually from sophomore to junior year. What was something you really wanted to improve on, from your sophomore year to your junior year?
I just want to improve on like my game overall. like each year you get new players, so you just want to like be able to gel with them. So my biggest thing that I try and do is just get the chemistry down right away with each person. And so I think that's the one thing I kept like I was hard on myself about, just being able to be able to play with anyone. So that's normally what I was pretty hard on myself about.
That yeah, that chemistry is so big, especially when you're playing kind of like the attacking mid, you gotta be able to even with the defense, defense getting the ball up to you and you getting it up to your forwards when you're playing forward. Now, last season, you girls get upset in the first round of Shore Conference. How disappointing was that?
Very disappointing. After getting like one of the higher seeds, we were, pretty confident going into the tournament. And then after having the upset, it was just like a kind of setback. But again, like we kind of pushed that aside when it came to states and then made another run.
Yeah, I think that was the only first round game I was so sure a team was going to win, and then when I think Lou was giving me the updates, I was I was really shocked. But do you think a loss like that makes you tougher? Makes the team tougher because you did have a nice state run, and we'll talk about that.
I think so. I think it gave us like a reality check that we needed to play every game like it was our last. So after that, we were like, okay, we need to change our mindset.
Yeah, I'm pulling up last season real quick. Uh, okay, so you played. All right, so states you had Johnson first. After okay, 2-0, and then you played Metuchen again. So what do you think? What was the message coach gave you going into states? After experience in that first round. So you just pretty much answered that. Going to every game. How now you played Homedale in the finals. Now Homedale up to that point, they only had one loss in 2 years, and that was to RBC in the Shore Conference. What was the message coach gave you, or the girls in the huddle right before kickoff? What was the message there?
Basically put it all on the line. Like the seniors, it could be their last game, so play for them, play for yourself, and just leave the field and not regret anything.
Now, lost one. Pulling up the stats. What was the message going into overtime? Because 0-0. Because home everyone like that year. To let that those 2 years home now was they were the team, and now you're taking them overtime where they were probably the favorites. So
Yeah, that was going to that game. Obviously, we already knew how hard the game was going to be. We were going to have to play another full 80 minutes. And in this case, with overtime, it was just every minute counted. And so we just had to take every chance we got and just push through everything.
now this year, senior this year, what is something you hope that you pass down, to the underclassmen?
I hope just like for like when I was a freshman, like I went in and everyone was so nice, so welcoming, and they just like pushed you to be your best. So I hope I passed on that same thing with the freshmen this year. I took them under my wing. I made sure they were all comfortable, like accepted. I didn't want anyone to feel left out of certain things. So I just want to pass that down and show that like everyone should be included and everyone should be pushed to their highest potential.
One question: how is it, every year opening day, St. Rose? Just how is it, playing? Because that's a big, boys, girls right after each other. Just talk that experience because I remember cause I went to St. Rose, and I remember I didn't play, but being there. Actually, I think I went there more to the games more when my sister was playing than when I was actually in the school. But just talk that like that's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, playing at home is under the lights is always a great experience. Having the rivalry and the boys and girls playing after each other, it's just something you can't ask for anything more. It's just the schools come out, they're
Yeah.
like every person in town. Like that's always the game that everyone looks forward to.
I saw the parents tailgating this year. I was like, oh, I missed a few years. But that's also good, show, all the parents get along, and that just tells you what type of event that is. And, like you said, the students are there for the girls' game too. Even if the boys are later, the students are there they're there for both games.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that game, all the players, a little extra something they're giving that game because you feed off the crowd a little bit?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a fun, and it doesn't matter, if Wall's bad or St. Rose is bad. It's still a fun environment. I mean, this year's outcome was a little ugly, but I thought at one point it might have been 10-0. I stopped tweeting updates. I was like, I can't anymore. And then your dad's always updating too, and Len from the Co-Star was there. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna socialize at this point because it's 4-0 now. I don't know what else. So we talked about states. All right, you ready for some rapid fire questions before we talk future? Okay. What is your favorite TV show?
Friends.
Friends? Wow.
Yeah, I've watched it so many times.
When did that go off the air?
I am not sure about that.
Was that off the air before you were born?
Probably.
Okay. Wow. Because a lot of kids say Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, wow, that started before you kids were even born, that show. Okay. How about favorite movie?
Ooh, I'm a big Disney fan, so I'd say like Ratatouille is like
Ratatouille.
It is.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that movie. All right.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm a Lion King person, so. Favorite food?
Sushi.
I interviewed Sydney yesterday from an Alp and sushi, and I think you were the first two. I've probably done 100 of these interviews that said sushi.
I could probably eat that every day if I could.
Okay. And I got that back-to-back days. Okay. Something you do for fun outside of soccer?
I like to just drive around.
Huh?
Honestly.
That's a new answer.
Yeah.
I get some interesting, but the common thing is obviously friends and the beach, obviously, especially you're from Wall, so obviously beach is probably up there. What is your favorite school subject?
Psychology this year.
Okay. Yeah, those classes did not exist when I was in high school. Even Sydney yesterday said something I was like, something that you won't be able to take one on, it's like, it was like a college class. So, which is great, it gives you kids more options and, things that you might want to do in your future other than just doing math, English, science, and history. What is your favorite number?
19.
19. Any reason why?
It is my birthday.
Okay. All right. Favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. Two more. What song do you listen to that gets you pumped up before a game?
I have a mix, honestly. So every game it kind of changes. I like a lot of like remixes.
Okay.
But the team, we have like a set playlist, so like it's like a mix of everything.
Do the girls pretty much agree on the playlist? Okay.
Yeah.
Last question for this. When you're done with college, do you think you see coaching or training at all in your soccer future?
Possibly.
I'm talking like the little kids.
Possibly.
Okay. All right. Let's talk. Do you know what school you're going to yet?
I do not.
No. Okay. Is there anything particular you're looking at? Like East Coast, West Coast, the size of the school matter? I'm finding out football is the big thing now. Kids want football. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to go more so like south. I don't know. I just want like the big schools, different atmosphere, warmer weather, obviously.
Yeah. Today I wish I was in the South.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what you want to study?
I want to either do like sports management or marketing,
Okay.
and then possibly psychology.
Okay. What do you want, like your future? What would you want to do with sports management? Sports team.
I want to work possibly like with a professional team or like a college level team, just in that atmosphere because I grew up with sports and it's just like something I like can't let go. So even if it's like a small like marketing job or something, like I would love to do that.
My friend was doing marketing for Kent State. He's no longer doing that. COVID kind of ruined that, but he was big marketing guy for, well, his internship was MLS. He was doing a lot of marketing for MLS when he worked under me for a few years. But and then after he was done with his intern, MLS would contract him just for the All-Star event and the finals. Like he would be always in the office of where we worked. I won't say where because he would get in trouble, but and he'd be on the phone all day doing marketing stuff. Wow, probably should be doing other things, but it's not my type of thing. But he enjoyed it and he made a lot of good connections doing that. All right, my last question: what advice would you give your younger self?
Um, hmm. Either never give up or take everything, like don't take anything for granted because you never know what can happen. Like you can be, say, playing a sport one day and then get hurt and never play it again.
Yeah, especially the amount you see in soccer, the amount of knee injuries.
Mhm.
It never happened at this level when I was growing up. So that's good. And something like COVID, you could just wipe out a season just like that. How my last question then, how did you find the adjustment with schoolwork when COVID was really in its peak and you girl, kids weren't going to school?
It was definitely a challenge. No one was used to anything, so like we all kind of had to adapt to what we were given. Um, it was probably like a very tough switch for me because I was used to sitting down in the classroom and like being able to like see everything I was being handed, like
A little
worksheets.
more regimented.
Yeah. And then once we switched to online, the switch in like teaching was very challenging because teachers would go online for like 15 minutes and be like, okay, go do your work. And it wasn't the same kind of thing.
Good practice though for college. That's what the kids that were seniors that year, I said that, it's a good, you got a little early start on what college is like. So,
Yeah.
so that's good. But yeah. And, I found it weird. Every school district was different how they handled it. So, but all right, Kiersten, thank you for taking time out today and good luck tomorrow, in the All-Star game. I'll be, as long as it's not 0 degrees, I'll be there tomorrow.
Thank you.
Last year was very cold. I walked outside. I was like, nope. And I came right back inside. I was like, I'm not going there. So, but good luck, and have fun. And Monmouth or Ocean tomorrow? Who do you think?
Mama.
Monmouth. Okay. Was it a tie last year or did Ocean win?
I am not sure about that.
Oh, I know the year before COVID, it was ugly. I think it was 7-1. It's 7-1 Monmouth. Like that was pretty it was an ugly game. But all right, yeah, good luck, but have fun. It's going to be your last high school. Are you the only wall girls? Is there any other wall?
No, there's one other, Haley Funkhauser.
Haley, she had a great season this year.
Good.
So, and she was hurt for a while, right?
Yeah, she got hurt in the RBC game.
Okay. Okay. Well, great season. Congrats on, and like you said, the experience playing state final, you're never going to forget that. And good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
No problem. Thank you.